Okay, so I just wanted to go through with you, ladies, about activation energy. It's all part of the psychology of change with the metabolic effect. We're now kind of a quarter of the way through the year, and I know some of you are seeing the results that you want, and some of you are not. And so I want to try and help you with increasing and decreasing your activation energy to help you start looking at your goals or where you want to go and try and stay inspired and not just motivated. So if you find that your battery is low, we've already discussed this in the psychology of change one. When your battery starts to get low, whether it's your mental, your emotional, or your physical battery, it actually starts to kind of really wear us down, and it actually decreases our motivation and it decreases our willpower, and we start making really poor choices. So the chances are, if you're not looking after yourself and you're not doing those things that I've told you to look at in the previous video about the psychology of change, then we end up leading ourselves to really kind of poor food choices, poor general lifestyle choices. Our motivation decreases. We're finding it hard to be. Our willpower goes down. So it's not just you; it's that the choices that you're making and the things that you're doing. So you really need to be thinking about lifestyle changes. Not if you're like we said before. If you're going to keep going on willpower, eventually you're going to crash and burn. All right. So how can we look to make better choices, and how can we activate them so that we start doing them on a regular basis and start to feel better? So, and what do I mean by activation energy? So this is something that's come through from the metabolic effect. Activation energy is basically the amount of energy it's going to take you to begin, instigate, or whatever you want to say, a particular behaviour. Whether that's an exercise behaviour or a nutritional behaviour, anything like that, it's the amount of energy that it takes us to do some. So in that respect, what we can kind of see is we're looking to make a new habit, all right? Or we're looking to get rid of an old one. So regardless of whether it's something brand new or whether it's something that we're trying to replace. And just bear in mind, if you've got a habit at the moment, such as smoking or I don't know, what else do we do? Drinking too much or something like that. If you just try and remove that without replacing it with something, it will not work. There are too many statistics to tell you that you just can't take something away. This is why these people will start with, smoking, and they'll go on to a e-cigarette or whatever, and then they need to start looking to something else to kind of replace that habit because it becomes a habit. So in this respect here, what we're looking at is we're looking at somebody that comes home from work and they've been on their computer all day, thinking a lot, and their cognitive brain has been working all day, and they're actually completely mentally exhausted. So their cognitive battery is completely drained. We quite often interpret that as a physical drainage. So we come home from work and actually want to do what the top right picture says, and we want to get home, we want to pick up the TV remote control, and we want to sit on our backsides in front of the TV and just chill out. Again, we know from experience that actually that lasts about the first 10 minutes, then we start to continue to drain our cognitive battery, okay? And what we need to do is look at one of the other batteries to use to recharge it. So what we really want to do, this new habit, we want to stop coming home from work and sit on our backsides in front of the TV, and we want to make sure we're getting up and we're getting active. So how can we do that? So the first thing we need to do is we need to look at what the bad behaviour that we've got here, and we want to think about, well, how can we make it harder? How can we increase the activation energy for that to make it harder for me to do it? So one example is that you can take the batteries out of the remote and put the batteries as far away as you can. You've actually got to come in, you've got to find the remote batteries, you've got to put them in the remote before you can sit down and watch TV. Now what happens if you change that, and actually what you do is you get your gym kit by the front door with your shoes, with your water, with your clothes, and so the first thing you do when you come in is you see your gym kit. Right? So can you see what we've done? We've made it much harder to do the undesired habit and much easier to take in the new habit and to make it a habit. Now you must bear in mind as well that when you come in for something like that, it's always worth just having a little talk to yourself to try and remind yourself how you're actually going to feel once you've done it, all right? You might feel really like you don't want to do it right now, but think about how you're going to feel once you've done it. The first 5 minutes are always the hardest. Your brain is going to really be saying to you, you know, you don't want to do this. It's going to stop your body from doing it. And you might want to cut a deal with yourself that if you start exercising after 5 minutes, you still feel like crap, then, you know, okay, give it up as a bad idea. But for the most part, within those first 5 minutes, everything is up and running, your hormones are starting to come in, your endorphins are running, and you start to think, I'm really, really glad that I did that. All right, so what we've done here is we've increased our chances of picking the better behaviour by increasing the activation energy of the bad behaviour. So that's if you're talking about, this is just a very simple example of an exercise. Now, if we go over to nutrition, okay, so say nutrition is your key issue. You're working out really well. You just can't get your head around the nutrition because you love junk food, all right? So this is a bit of more of a circle, this one. You'll see in the top right-hand side there that what I've got is a menu, all right? So in the first instance, what you can do is you can get rid of all your fast food menus. Take the fast food joints out of your speed dial on your phone. Get all the bad food out of your house. Now, what you've done now is you've increased the activation energy to get that bad food into your body. You've either got to go and route round a telephone directory or your internet to get a telephone number, or you've got to get off your backside and get to the shop to buy something, and then you've got to cook it if you're going to go and buy something, or you've got to wait 20 minutes, 30 minutes for it to be delivered in, all right? So you've made the activation energy harder. Remove all the things that make it too easy for you. You can also use the menu to make yourself a menu for the week. You can plan in your cheat meal and have whatever you want at that meal, as long as it's one meal and you eat it all at the table, and when you leave the table, that's it. You just don't have any more, okay? What you can also do then is, say like I do on a Friday night, my Friday night is my steak, sweet potato and salad night, and that's my cheat meal because I really, really enjoy it. I don't need anything else. But if you really fancy like a really good juicy burger, make your own. Make them in a batch of 16, you've got enough for a month, you know. You can go and get yourself a nice piece of healthy bread, you've got a salad on the go, you can go and buy your pre-prepared salad. Have it all ready for you in the fridge, that when you come home, you've got to whack the burger on the George Foreman, put on your salad, you've got your bread roll, and hey presto, you've got your fast food, only it's much healthier and tastes a whole lot better, all right? So you've increased the activation energy to get your takeaway, to make it much harder for you. You've got rid of all the crap in the house, and you've replaced it with good, healthy food. So actually, when you open the fridge, it's either nothing or healthy. That's always a good start. And believe me, once you get used to it, it's an absolute doddle. You've got to get rid of those cravings first. So just in summary, when we increase activation energy, we do it to make an effort to carry out the undesired behaviour. So this gives you time to think twice before you do something that you're going to regret. And it also pushes you toward the better and desired alternative. If we decrease the activation energy, it means you need to have systems in place to make the desired behaviour the easier option. Have your kit ready. Have your kit ready in the morning and exercise for 20 minutes before you go to work. Have your meals ready for work, all in your Tupperware ready to take to work. Have your menus done. All these things. It gives you less time to talk yourself out of it. Okay, if you're at home and your burgers are defrosted and your gym kit's by the door, burgers can be on the George Foreman, you can be in the garden doing your workout, and in 20 minutes you've worked out and you've got a beautiful dinner to wait for you. And also it increases your chances of staying committed. We all want an easy life, right? We've got families to look after, we've got jobs. So do what you can, spend the time working out where your key problems are, how you can work around it, and how you can make it easier for one and harder for the other. And again, any questions, give us a call at getfitrevolution.co.uk, or please just speak to me in session, because you know we're a quarter way through the year and we're heading quickly towards summer. So come on ladies, get that finger out and start thinking about what you're doing.